King's Country, kingscountry.net. In case you're wondering, that's Sturgill Simpson living the dream. Yeah, I would say I'm living the dream because I'm doing this radio show from the spare bedroom of my house where I produce a TV show, too. We'll talk more about the TV show in just a bit. I'll give you some previews, too. And stay with me for Mo Bandy, Tracy Lawrence, Chris Cagle, Parker McCullum, just to name a few. After this short break, we've got John Wesley Riles, or my name ain't Jim, King of the Road.
Long live the king!
King's Country, kingscountry.net. Before we go any further, we have to recognize a magnificent birthday today. Happy birthday to one of entertainment's greatest legends, Dolly Parton. She is 78 today. Here's an audio capsule of some of her amazing career from her induction into the Porter Wagner Show to last year's release of her rock star album.
Here's a little gal that I know you're going to really learn to love. She ain't no dumb blonde, though. Her name is Dolly Parton.
Just because I'm blonde, don't think I'm dumb. 'Cause this dumb blonde ain't nobody's fool. Jolene, 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 I will always love you. Islands in the stream. Thank you, Kenny.
Dolly Parton, you are now and forever a member of the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Here you come again, working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living.
It is my pleasure to induct you into the Rock and Roll Hall of
I'm a rock star now. We will rock you.
Happy birthday, Dolly Parton, 78 years old today.
Happy birthday.
Streaming from the studio of King of the Road Productions in Beaumont, Texas, Jim King of the radio and TV behind the mic. Speaking of the TV, it's the first airing of my TV extravaganza, the Jim King of the TV show, airing right now on the CW. There's going to be a preview in just a few moments during News at Noon on KFDM. Yeah, we're starting to blow out our content for the weekend. That's what we do here. It's all about the boob tube on the weekends. We're going to continue our mini-series, Pat and Swamp Pop mini-series. In fact, we'll conclude the Swamp Pop portion, but we'll close it out with Natalie Rose in the Royal Spotlight, thanks to Glenn's Express Collision. We'll have the Honky Tonk Texas fabulous flashback with Jivin' Jean Bourgeois as part of our Swamp Pop extravaganza. We'll have the Southeast Texas debut of Gibson Wright's new video as our King's Country music clip of the week from Nashville. We'll have that Swamp Pop music as promised, and we'll kick it off with Pat Boone, another exclusive segment. Here's a sample of that.
Hey, Ritz, bestest food there is.
Over the past 2 weeks, we've zoomed off to Beverly Hills, California to visit with the legendary Pat Boone. You are amazing. 70 years. You've been doing this longer than I've been alive, Pat.
Yes. My first record was 1955, and that goes back a long way, and so that is 70 years of recording.
In our last 2 episodes, we also aired Pat's new rendition of You and I with Crystal Gale. And we aired his fun little ditty, Grits.
Ritz, bestest food there is. You can keep that group, give me my grits.
Here's more of my exclusive interview with the living legend.
And the compliment of all, Dean, Miller, Roger Miller's
son,
sings on the record with me, and he paid me the compliment of saying, I can hear my dad writing this song.
Well, speaking of his dad, back in the 90s, I lived near where he grew up. It was in Oklahoma. I was living in Elk City, Oklahoma. It was just down the road where Roger Miller grew up, Eric, Oklahoma. And that was his birthplace and where he grew up. about 40 miles away, and I was in radio then thinking of things I could do to set myself apart from other DJs, and I came up with this King of the Road thing. I started wearing this silly little hat around. Never got to meet Roger, but I did meet his son, Dean. What a fine man he is.
Very good young guy, and he was so complimentary and helpful, as was Ray Stevens and all the artists. We just had a ball making the record, and you could hear it and the fun of it all. And then the video, a lady created a grits line dance, and that's helped get the thing on so much on Spotify and Pandora, all these services, because to learn the grits line dance, you have to listen to the record, and then you have to play the record to do the dance. And I had these things. I didn't know anything about line dancing. I knew it existed, but I tried to do a little of it on the video, but it would have taken me a month to have learned how to do it.
Well, do you ever stop and pinch yourself after 70 years in the entertainment business? Because you've seen a lot of changes. I mean, just in the last 20 years with the digital technology. And when you started, they just had the old phonograph records, and then the cassettes and 8 tracks. And now this digital thing is just blowing it wide open, and artificial intelligence coming up. I mean, what do you think about all these changes, Pat?
I used to kid Andy Williams about this, that we'd known each other for our whole careers back when we were recording on cylinders.
Yeah.
In some cases, you could put one in a player piano. But no, it was all discs when I first started, and all monaural. There was no, you couldn't go in and fix anything. If you were going to put out a record, it had to be a full take that you had done all at once. And if there were mistakes in it, but you felt it was the best take, you just left the mistakes in. And I did that in several records that I would like to, that were gold records, but I'd like to have gone back and changed a little thing here or there. But I didn't, because the feel of the record was in that particular take. And so those were, first it was discs, and then of course, then there were the 33 1/3 discs, and then the 45s. And then we went to, to CD.
8 tracks and
yeah.
cassettes and CDs and DVDs and
all of that. I kept trying to come up with it.
Yeah.
And I recorded, and we put out all my records in all of those methods. But now the irony is, Jim, I've got 2 hit songs. One I wrote, the other with Crystal Gale.
Yeah.
And they're over country radio, but nobody's buying records. Now,
did you put out a vinyl copy of Country Jubilee?
Yeah, well, it's funny you mention that, because
it's right there. There it is.
I have it. Who thought I might need this? But I'm telling you, Dana McElwain did a great job putting this package together.
Yeah, and those are really getting popular again.
Yeah, and it is vinyl.
Uh-huh.
The only place, the real way we're selling records is letting people know that if they buy it, send it to me. I will autograph it with their name and mine and send it back to them. And thank God we're selling a few thousand records so far. They have to buy it, send it to me. I'll sign it and send it back.
Check out Pat Boone on this weekend's Jim King of the TV show. It's on right now on the CW, as I said. Going to air tomorrow night following Packers' big win. Of course, on Strike TV, too. Don't you dare miss it, and thanks for streaming King's Country.
I can't sleep at all. I'm making late-night calls.
King's Country at kingscountry.net. I'm Jim King of the radio. Stay with me. Got Willie Nelson waiting backstage. My way or the highway. I don't think that's quite what he means. Anyway, stay with me for that and much more. Plus, if you're anywhere near the Boob Tube, you can get a preview of my TV show that aired for the first time on the CW just a few moments ago. It's on News at Noon on KFDM around 12:15 or so. But catch the news. You can see the weather. Weather is really changing a lot this weekend. All week, really. Hey, stay with me for Willie next on the Jim King of the radio thing.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane!
It's
Backstage with Texas country troubadour Robert Earl Keane.
This house was it was really funky and sort of broken down, and then my rent was virtually nothing, so we lived off virtually nothing. I was there for 3 years before I ever got a phone, and the last day I was there, there had been this air conditioner that was sitting above my bed in my room, and we never even thought to plug it in because it was so busted up looking and stuff. Last day I was there, an old man came by and said, I used to live in this house. This is an old house. I said, yeah, I used to live in this house. Of course, we didn't have air conditioning back then, and I just decided not to even talk to him about that. So I let him walk through, and he walked off. I thought, you know what? I never checked out an air conditioner. So I got a 2x4 and went over there, and I propped that air conditioner up. I went back around my room, and I plugged it in. Boom! It just hung. It blew out cold as air. It's just like a refrigerator.
And did you suffer before then? Or?
It was hot as hell in that house. I mean, there was no wind a lot of times there in the Brazos Valley, right? I couldn't believe I spent all my time there at College Station, no AC, and I had it right there above my head. So there's the true Aggie joke right there.
Waitress at the only joint in town.
Kings Country, kingscountry.net. We do appreciate you listening, especially if you reside in southeast Texas or southwestern Louisiana. We were a station that was designed and launched with you folks in mind, but we do have listeners worldwide, and we do appreciate that. We're coming to you from Beaumont, Texas, where country is king. I'm Jim King on the radio and TV. You're listening to Kings Country. Kings Country, kingscountry.net. I'm chomping at the bit for tomorrow's football action. In fact, I told Suzanne Simmons that we're going to do date night at home tomorrow night. Hope she's in agreement with that because I got to see my Green Bay Packers take on the 49ers at San Francisco. Here's the lineup. Sunday's games. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Detroit Lions. Then the Kansas City Chiefs play the Bills in frozen Buffalo. Tomorrow, the Houston Texans in Baltimore versus the Ravens. Then, like I said, the Pack is back versus the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara. Of course, I'm going to back the Packers. I'm a lifelong Packer fan, going all the way back to the 60s when we lived in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the area, Appleton and Green Bay. The Pack is back. Sorry, Dallas Cowboy fans.
Tomorrow, it's the game 49 of 50 U.S. states wants to see when not the Cowboys face not the Cowboys in the NFL divisional round. Can not the Cowboys ride the arm of not Dak Prescott against the stingy defense of not the Cowboys and not Micah Parsons? Will not coach Mike McCarthy finally give the city of not Dallas that Super Bowl ring not Jerry Jones so desperately wants? It's a game you don't want to miss because everything you hate about football, unless you live in Texas, won't be there. Not the Cowboys versus not the Cowboys. Be there because the Cowboys won't.
Kings Country, kingscountry.net. We're cruising into the Super Bowl. It's going to be here before you know it, and I got my fingers crossed and knock on wood. Packers win tomorrow night against the 49ers. Packers got a lot of promise. They've really blossomed nicely this season. Looking forward to the big game tomorrow, 7:15 here Central Time. Speaking of the NFL announced that, wait for it, Reba McEntire, the Queen of Country, she'll sing the national anthem before the Super Bowl. Post Malone will sing America the Beautiful, and Andra Day will sing Lift Every Voice and Sing. Here's Reba talking about how she ended up being asked to sing the anthem.
I got the news from my manager, Justin McIntosh. He said that they wanted me to sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl. And I said, oh, my gosh. Well, let me think about that. And Rex Lynn, my boyfriend, who is a huge football fan, he said, yes, she'll do it. Absolutely. So. Kings Country, kingscountry.net. I stumbled on a young lady that I think
Might be a pretty good country singer. Probably heard of her. Lana Del Rey. Yeah, she released a clip from a new song, Henry, Come On. Fans are speculating that she's working on a country album. Here's a quick clip. I think it's pretty good. Nice tone. I love her quality. What do you think?
I mean, Henry, come on. Do you think I'd really choose it? All this off and on. Henry, come on. I mean, baby, come on. Do you think I'd really lose it on you if you did nothing wrong?
King's Country, kingscountry.net, putting the ribbon on another Jim King of the Radio show. We're going to kind of kick back and slow down just a little bit this afternoon and a little bit tomorrow, too. I deserve a little rest. Actually, my weekend kind of cranks up on Fridays. All my deadlines are reached on Thursdays. Most weeks, unless there's a holiday that interrupts things or disrupts it, I should say. Anyway, keep it between the ditches. Have a good one. Go Green Bay Packers. I know a lot of my Dallas Cowboy friends are still licking their wounds. Now, I'm for the Cowboys normally, unless they play the Packers. And I'm kind of partial to the underdogs like the Texans. I get to see them tomorrow. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a good game, too. So keep it between the ditches. Have a good one. Go Packers. Go Texans. Check out the Jim King of the TV show this weekend. Lots of opportunities to check that out, and it's a good one. It's going to feature the legendary Pat Boone. Later, Gators.